Practical Pist. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. I jumped the gun there a little bit. My name is Ben Steiger. I'm here to answer your shooting questions. Joining me today from Georgia, producer Candice.
Hey, hey.
That's your cool intro?
Still don't have one.
From Texas, are you in Dallas, Athena?
Fort Worth. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from Fort Worth is Miss Athena Lee, who, there she is. She should need no introduction, but I suppose we'll introduce her anyway. You won a world championship as a lady shooter.
Yep, I've won a couple.
A couple. I'm sorry. And well, I guess there's really nothing cooler than that. So, yes, Athena's a very accomplished lady. So today will be Q&A with Athena Lee. So I put out a feeler on Facebook to get some questions, and we had a few of them come in. So, Candice, let's get started. We've got about 50-50 split between serious questions and stupid questions, right?
I kind of cut out all the height ones, so we've got a lot more serious questions.
She's like Tim Herron of the ladies. She's not tall, right?
No, I'm not tall at all.
Okay, so is it a 50-50 split, excluding the height ones?
No, there's a lot more serious questions.
All right, we'll just pepper in the stupid ones too while we go. Just for a little bit of entertainment.
All right. Okay, so first question: what % of your training do you do live fire to dry fire, and what's your favorite drill?
Well, I think 80% of my training is dry fire to no fire because I have a full-time job that does not involve shooting. I do work from 7:30 to 4:30. After that, I go work out. After that, I'm too tired to do shit. Oh, can I say shit? Anyway.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
No, you can't say shit.
So all that racist shit you were saying before we started recording, you can still say that stuff. That's
okay. But basically, I do most of my stuff. I mean, most of the shooting that I do when I do shoot open, I glean that from all the experience that I have from like the last 24 years. So basically,
holy shit! How old are you?
Did you start shooting when you were born?
No, thank you. But I'm gonna be 37 this year, so I've been shooting since I was 12.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So much jealous.
Oh, all right. So you'd say most of your training is
gleaned from experience, and most of my training is gonna be. I mean, what I meant was when I go shoot a match, most of what carries me is my experience, and of course, dry firing does kick in, and live firing.
I'm hearing you say you don't practice a lot.
No, I can't. I don't have time to do so. Yeah.
Well, before a big match, let's say a month before nationals, like how many rounds would you shoot?
I ideally would shoot about maybe 500 to 600 rounds a weekend, because I can only do like 300 per session.
Yeah.
So that's a Saturday and a Sunday. That's all the days that I can shoot. That's it. And I usually just focus on what I'm kind of weak on, and just work from there.
All right, good. Candice, next question.
Right. How many selfies at a match are too many?
There's never enough selfies.
Never enough?
Never enough.
Shit.
We got selfie sticks and shit. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Hey, we're Asian. Come on.
Okay. So I guess you CrossFit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What in CrossFit helps in shooting? The selfies, right?
Yes, of course. The flexing and no. CrossFitting helps a lot in terms of like the agility, the explosiveness, because of course we do have a lot of that in shooting, just going from, what the hell, cat? Going for,
Cats interrupt the show on the reg, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, okay, my cat just, god damn it, Charlie.
I locked mine in a dungeon.
I know.
He likes it.
But, yeah, anyway, see.
Fucking cats are killing us. Hello, cat. Oh
my god.
Charlie's cute.
Yeah, Charlie's that. Yeah, she's Charlie the asshole cat. Hey, Charlie, say hi.
If you're listening to this in your car and you aren't getting the video, Athena has a very cute cat.
She is cute. She knows it. Look at that.
It's a little black pussy. It's very cute.
Look at my pussy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that question's fucked. Will you try it again, Candice?
Sorry.
Yeah, CrossFit must make you gooder at shooting.
Well, it kind of eliminates the. I think shooting is a physical sport for me, and the stronger you are, or the more physically fit you are, mentally, it kind of goes with that. You know, because I mean, you're at the range all day. It's a long day. You've been out taping out in the sun, whatever. And if your body starts to fail, your mind kind of goes with it. And I've had first-hand experience on that. So.
When did you start CrossFitting?
09, when because what happened was I threw my back out twice in 08, which was a world shoot year. And the second time I threw my back out was a week before we were supposed to fly out to Bali. And I was on the floor crying because I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do shit. And my physical therapist was like, yeah, you have a weak back. You need to start working on that and all that. I was like,
so holy shit, that's like as a 32-year-old or a 30-year-old or something?
That was the year I turned 30. Yeah, it sucked. I threw my back out twice that year. Yeah.
Damn.
All right.
Getting old sucks, man.
Oh yeah, once you hit 30, it's downhill from there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no. I'm in the best shape now I've ever been in. That's kind of sad, and I'm over 30.
But yeah, I mean that's over and gone. CrossFit has helped a lot. I have not had any back issues since. I'm a lot stronger. Yeah, it's helped a lot.
Excellent.
So,
Candice.
all right.
Excellent.
Why are you going to go to 3-gun?
Because I'm done. I mean, I've shot, like I said, I've shot nothing but exclusively open for the last 24 years. And everything, all the stages, it's not like, you know, it's stuff that I've shot before, I've seen before. I want a new challenge. I want to suck at something and, you know, build from there. I like the challenge of learning, of getting better, and all that stuff, because basically in IPSC, USPSA, I've already achieved everything that I want to achieve, personally. So, I mean, you know.
Well, you're not going to try and win, like,
overall?
Well, what's above World Championship? Like the
champion of the universe?
Champion of the solar system?
Yeah, I mean, you know, personal goals. That was my personal goal, win a world championship. I did it twice. You know, win a national championship here in the U.S. I've done that, and I was like, this is cool. And so it's always like, what's the next step? You know, I'm not like a achievement whore like some people that is like, I want 10 million of these, because you know, like I said, my attention span is like this much, so I want to try something different.
All right. Well.
All right.
Candice.
Okay. So is physical strength, hand strength, etc. the primary reason top ladies don't typically make Grandmaster? If not, what are some other challenges ladies face that men do not?
Ooh,
well, I bet you've never had this conversation before, ever, huh, Athena?
Ever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there's two very distinct things. One being a GM and one being what is your placement in a major match where all the GMs are there. Know what I mean? So basically, okay, if my goal is basically to just get a GM ranking per se, and not really, you know, that for me is a totally different thing than what my overall placement or percentage is going to be at a match. That is doable because unfortunately our system is flawed, and I've had GM scores before on classifiers, but I'm like, this doesn't mean shit, really, for me personally, because I came from the Philippines where we don't have classes. I always went for the top 10, top 5 finish in the country. So when I got here, I was like, oh, there's classes? Okay, cool. So, okay, I digress. But hand strength, it's not only that, but, you know, the thing about it is the more physical stuff there is, like the longer the running, the more movement, that really affects, you know, men, women type shooting performance and whatnot. But I don't know.
Well, what I'm hearing from you, Athena, is that being a GM just getting that ranking has never really been a goal of yours.
Nope.
Right. So
because I really don't care.
Okay.
I could be a C class right now, and I wouldn't give a shit.
all right. Well, what about? I mean, have you seen other women sort of chase that, like kind of like, hey, I want to make GM? Like, have you had conversations with those lady shooters?
I'm actually friends with the first female GM, and I think it's great. I mean, she worked for it. She
That's
got it.
Jessie, right?
Yeah, it's
So
Jessie.
she made a goal of it. She made a point of
Yes.
like, hey, I want to be it, and
Yes. And it's not that there's nothing wrong with that, but
right.
it's her preference, and my preference is just that just didn't attract me. It was like, okay, whatever. I can be any class. Like right now, I could be freaking unclassified, and I wouldn't care.
Well, that's good. You're okay with yourself.
Yeah,
That's
I
important. All right,
So-
Candice.
Well, we didn't really answer the question because
Well, Athena says
yeah.
she doesn't give a fuck about your dumb question.
no, not the GM.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
fuck it.
GM. The GM thing was the smallest little bit of the question.
So basically, hand strength correlation with performance. Well, I think there's, I think that affects it, but I think it's also all about the hard work and how much you put in there. It's not just that. It's a lot of mental stuff, because you can be freaking fantastic at practice, but at a match, if you don't have the mental capacity or the mental toughness to handle pressure, then really, what's the point?
So the guy asking the question is asking what challenges
Lady
females-
shooters.
Yeah. So
Well, okay, this is the way I look at it. We have to work twice, 3 times harder than most guys to achieve a certain ranking or whatever. But the time that you put in there, I don't know if a lot of women, considering women are only a small percentage of the entire shooting population, I don't know if women have enough time, enough resource to sacrifice and put into training, because I think theoretically it is possible for...
We're gonna find out.
Exactly.
well, we are finding out.
That's the thing. Like I said, I've been doing this for the last 24 years. I've achieved what I need to
That's
achieve,
a
and I'm
lot.
like, you know what? I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. Moving on. But I know how much practice it takes to win. I know how much practice it takes to get to a certain level. And to be quite honest with you, right now where I'm at, working full-time and everything, I don't have that time. So I'm kind of glad I already invested the first 10 years of my shooting career building and working on those basic stuff, and now I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting stuff based from my experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
Well, what I'm hearing is there's kind of a smaller. There's not that many women in the sport, and
Right.
very few people willing to work that hard anyway. So
Yeah, because
we don't really know
look at
yet.
your return of investment. I mean, you put in this much time, what do you get back?
Yeah, Ferrari.
Where is that? Sign me up.
It's in my garage.
But yeah, so, I mean, look at you. You do this full time, but you teach people. You go all over the country to teach people. That's what you do for a living, because if you just, I don't know, there's very, very few people who just get paid to do nothing but use brass, that kind of thing.
You didn't get your Ferrari?
Shit, where's the memo? I missed the memo on that.
No, you don't get paid. All right, Candice.
All right.
Move
So, how did you almost break your leg at Double Tap 2014?
What the fuck? Is this okay? This is kosher to talk about?
No, it's not really break my leg. I almost busted my ass, fell down backwards because they had this one stage that had like a high wall, and they built this rickety step stool, and of course when I got on top of it, it was not on a very stable platform, and it wasn't built solidly to begin with. So I fell, and thankfully my gun was still pointed down range, and nobody got shot. I didn't get hurt, but I was not happy.
All right. What division is optimal for female shooters, or is there no difference?
I would say like limited probably would not be, because of the just lack of compensation and whatnot. But I think, I mean, you look at currently the current female world champion in production, Maria, who's freaking awesome, by the way, and she's only 18. Ugh. But considering she's shooting minor, but I mean, I'm pretty sure she's thrown down. She shot a lot of rounds to be where she's at right now. But I think it's the division. Did you say division? See, I get distracted so quickly.
Yeah. Production, limited, open, single stack.
Yeah, definitely revolver. No. Maybe production. Open's a different beast. It's just high speed, just that and a mixture of no fear, which we very rarely see in women. And this is just me. I'm not saying that women.
Candice shoots fearlessly.
Yeah, but like I said, like from what I've seen in my last how many years
like a
of
retard.
shooting,
What are you talking about?
That's what I was saying. You shoot fearlessly.
Well, women tend to be a lot more cautious. I don't know. That's just. I may be wrong.
No, probably. No, Candice is the one lady I've seen who shoots crazy.
Well, that's good.
Right. Yeah, the rest are basically making fun of you being short. So.
What else is new?
And they ask about Top Shot, but who cares?
No.
Everyone's been on Top Shot. Who cares?
Exactly. Everyone and their cats have been on Top Shot. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. We have enough time for a shooting question. So, Candice, tee it up.
All right. Okay, shooting question. Where the hell did I put it? There it is. All right, from listening to you, my understanding is that you're able to go to USPSA match ahead of time, possibly the day before or in the early morning, and walk the stages. You've talked about walking a stage for almost an hour. This is an IPSC question. As you're also an IPSC competitor, do you know this is not allowed at an IPSC match?
I knew that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He says, we're only allowed to walk a stage for 2 to 5 minutes, and it's often crowded with other competitors. My question for you is, how much are you affected by not being able to walk stages ahead of time at an IPSC match?
Not really at all. Maybe at first, mentally, it was kind of daunting at my first IPSC match, but the fact is, the stages are typically much smaller and much simpler, and it's not a lot of USPSA matches sort of make a point of making it hyper complicated, and that isn't really the case at IPSC matches. Typically, the stages are just going to be more straightforward. So ahead of time, you can look at the stage from outside of the bay. You can look at the stage. If it's a big match, if you're going to the World Shoot or something, you're going to see the stage diagram, so you have a good idea of what you're going to be looking for. So looking at the stage from outside the tape, you get a sense of the layout, and then once your walkthrough time on that stage comes, you usually have a really good idea of a few questions that you want answered for yourself, like you're going to see other people shooting it, so you're like, hey, can I see these targets from over here or from over there? So you just take a look at a couple positions and get a feel for how the stage is laid out, and you can usually do that in about the 2 to 5 minutes that you have, and then you go ahead and visualize your routine. So I don't really think it affects me at IPSC matches because just the flow of the match is so much different, and the stage flavor is a lot different. How do you feel about it, Athena, as an IPSC shooter?
Well, they only started doing this like maybe the last couple World Shoots. I think it started with Greece. Remember all those big field courses that were obscured with a lot of different props and stuff, and the squads were so big and we only had X amount of minutes. We only actually went through the stage once before we had to shoot it. And I thought I was like, okay, this is the first time. And that was, Florida was my 7th or 8th World Shoot. So that was the first time that I've ever, it's like, okay, I understand logistically, there's a shit ton of squads, a shit ton of shooters. We have to process these people as quickly as possible, but that was a cluster fluffy anyway to begin with, but,
Greece?
Yes.
Yeah, there were some problems. There were some issues with that match. But thankfully I don't think I forgot any targets there.
So
right. So would you say that your approach was different than a USPSA match? I mean, going into Florida, so you knew what to expect from Greece. Going into the World Shoot in Florida, would you say it was a lot different than a USPSA match? Like as far as
IPSC is always a lot different from USPSA. IPSC is a little bit more technical, a little bit more.
No, but your approach to this, like the stage walkthrough specifically.
Yeah, I mean, coming from, knowing how the World Shoot was in Greece, it was like, okay, we have this much time. We have to get the most important key points, like, okay, reload here, do here, run there, that kind of thing. But thankfully, it was a lot smoother in Florida than it was in Greece.
So what I'm hearing is that you're looking for, you kind of, before you stepped onto the stage for the walkthrough, you knew a couple of things that you were going to be looking for, and you just used that time to find those things.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely, that's the way I feel about it as well.
Right.
Candice, do you have any follow-up for that?
So do you think that maybe USPSA shooters get kind of spoiled by the USPSA endless walkthroughs and all that kind of stuff, and you think they do kind of worse at these matches because of that?
Well, it's not only that, but the quality of stages here in the U.S., because granted, we don't have hired help to set up tape and do all that stuff for us. Organizers, I think, like even local matches or area matches, they have these things in mind that, okay, shooters have to go set up tape and do all that stuff. It's only in this country where you tape your own freaking targets. Back where I'm from, we have people setting up, we have people picking up brass for us, we have people basically putting everything on my belt for me, short of just shooting my gun for me. So they have more time to create more creative stages. But it's not like I'm saying, but mostly here in the States, what I've noticed, in my last, 10, 12 years that I've been here, it's almost like it's like shooting the same stages. And it's not very technical, and it's not as difficult as it would be at an IPSC match. That's why some people who go to the World Shoot for the first time, or who shoot their very first IPSC match for the first time, are like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yes. Yeah, Candice, to answer your question, yes, USPSA shooters do get spoiled.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely get spoiled. Kind of your first World Shoot's like, whoa, what the fuck? This is different. But I mean, especially IPSC shooters who are like, you can show up at a USPSA match and walk around as much as you want beforehand. Yes, you can, but the stages can often be really complicated. Because of that, the stages at USPSA matches do tend to be sort of strategically more complicated, with there's more shit to remember, and the stages tend to be bigger as well.
One of the big differences is you can run outside the fault lines, and that opens up a lot of possible plans, I would think. On some stages, I've really seen that change things quite a bit. Just to give you more options that you might want to see beforehand. Because it does sound like IPSC, everyone shoots almost the same stage. I mean,
not really. Depends on the course.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Depends
That's
on
cool.
the course design too.
Yes.
Neat.
All right. Yeah, neat. All right, Athena, if our peeps want to get in touch with you and talk to you about shooting, how do they do that?
Let's go to my athlete page. Just look me up, Athena Lee Shooting.
Athena
on
Lee
Facebook.
Shooting. On Facebook.
Yeah.
Excellent. Fucking Facebook. If you guys want to shit on Candice, head over to the YouTube channel and comment on that. She does engage on the comments. And if you want to talk to me, head over to bensteiger.com. Send me your shooting questions. I'd love to answer them for you. All right. Say goodbye, Athena.